your gifts are being squandered as you pussyfoot around them because you aren't trusting the evolution that they are going on. Hi, it's Angharad Sage, and you are listening to the Your Galactic Guide podcast. For the first time ever, I am trying to video this episode, or at least a fucking intro to this episode, which is really interesting because I have this giant fucking microphone in front of me and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's the weirdest setup, but today this is a very deep topic to me. And in a newsletter that I wrote today, I said that in 2025, one of my ends for me is to unmask myself. That I have put on myself in my respite time, in my inward time, in my freedom time from the company that I built and the impact that I have and the wealth that I have, but also the freedom that came along with that, because that's how I chose to build it, right? That was my intention for creating it, was for all three of those things simultaneously. And during that period, I have taken some respite time from showing all of me. And so as I'm sharing this episode with this fucking weird setup in a video that isn't a precarious fucking setup and all this shit, and this giant micro on my face because I haven't perfected any of this stuff, I just want you to know that this is me. I want to inform you that I am unmasking myself for this message and for this impact. And because of the context of this episode, I'm really excited for it to be done in this kind of format with the unmasking kind of vibes in the video. If you're watching wherever this is watched, probably on YouTube, I guess this is going to go. Today I want to speak about your gifts and how you have overlooked them for a really long time and why you probably have, and how you actually seeing them and seeing yourself through them is going to be really powerful for your impact that you are creating in 2025 and beyond. And this is going to be from my heart. And I'm telling a story that no one knows. And I want to preface something first. One of the things that you will hear me speak about a lot inside my containers, whether that's a mastermind, whether that's one-on-one, whether that's my self-paced office, the study club, etc. I speak a lot about duality. And I speak about how I believe that life is all about mastering multidimensionality in order for us to hold duality. Because without the highs, we wouldn't know what the lows are. And that was a lot of my mental health journey. I have an undefined solar plexus in human design. I have always felt very deeply. Over the past few months, something that the guides have actually introduced to me is this concept of contrast. And it's through my learning and my love for learning about interior design and home renovation. Once again, trust the unfolding, trust the mastery, trust the journey, right? I want you to see that through everything that I'm sharing. I follow a lot of interior designers. I consume a lot of interior designer content. And one of the things that they talk about is this push and pull with contrast. And I'm sorry, if you are an interior designer or you've studied this or you've done graphic design formally, I'm probably going to butcher the fuck out of this because this is a passion of mine. I'm not an expert in it, but for the sake of the analogy, it's important. There's this one particular creator on TikTok that I follow. She does virtual layout and interior design kind of stuff for rooms, and if there's a walkway here and a walkway there, you need 3 feet between your counters and I don't know, all this kind of stuff that I don't really understand. But she follows all these rules and she speaks and teaches in her content about her concepts and her technology that she's developed over the years. One of the things that a lot of her clients come to her for is they hate the honey oak in their house, particularly their kitchen, but also their flooring. And it's kind of similar to our Remo that we've got up here above me if you're watching on the video. It's quite a yellowy tone of wood, and a lot of people are not enjoying it in their home, and they're we don't have the budget to change out the window frames or to change the doors on the cabinets in the kitchen and stuff, but can you help us modernize it and move more towards our style that we enjoy, right? And make it look less fucking intense and taking over the room. And what she actually talks about is you actually have to add in that warm orangey color into a different aspect within the room to balance it out. So, like, that can be through pottery or something on the bench, that can be through like throws over the couch, that can be through paintings or something. You know what I mean? You can lighten up the room and change the colors or change the flooring or whatever they're doing. But by adding in that warmer orangey kind of tone, you're pushing and pulling with the contrast, and it makes everything balance more. It makes it work for the eye and for your desire and for what you're trying to achieve with the aesthetics of a room. And they talk about this with contrast. That's the word that they're using. And I'm really resonating with that when it comes to duality, when it comes to difficult times, when it comes to trials, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to living this life. I'm really digging that. The analogy works so perfectly. And so I just want to share, I guess, just add into the story about what I'm going to share around our gifts, that it's not always just through the greatness that we develop our gifts. It's not always just because of like our lucky girl syndrome or our manifestations or our natural talents that are gifts. There is also gifts in contrast. There is also gifts in duality. There is also gifts in trials. And one of the things that we've been speaking about with the kids recently is around developing skills, and how skills are developed through challenges. They aren't just given to us. No one has skills handed to them on a platter. It is something that they have worked at, and it's challenges that actually give us those skills. And often it's only over time, sometimes decades, until we realize what the skill was that we were gaining through those trials. And so, one of the things that my clients reflect back to me all of the fucking time is my power when it comes to my analogies. They literally don't shut up about it. About how it made them laugh, about how it made them land for them, about how it really supported their human, around how it just really made them get it, around how it translated the energy and my technology into a way that their human could really understand and decode and depict and actually use it for their evolution, for their activation, for propelling them forward towards what it is that they are creating with their codex. But no one knows why I'm able to do that. No one knows why. It's such an important part of my life to speak like this until now. My father started battling cancer when I was 6 years old. And when I was 7, he passed away. My father was a healer, and I had healed people with him, as had my mother, and I had seen healing be part of our lives. And I had tried to heal him when he was really sick, and the doctors couldn't do anything for him. And the day before he died, he had told my mother that he can't go yet because I don't understand what's going to happen to him. And so my mother and our nanny sat me down on my bed that night when everyone else was in bed, and they sat either side of me on the bed and squeezed me from each side and held on to me really, 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 really tightly. And they said, "This is what your father's like. His soul is trapped inside a body that is not well and can't carry him any further in this life." And then they let me go slowly and released me. And they said, "And when he dies, he will be free." And that analogy helped me understand in a way that a 7-year-old could about what death is. It prepared me in the best way that I could have been prepared. Analogies are a huge part of the way I communicate my technology and my codex, because I am describing things that people haven't experienced before. Because I am translating something from the 5D that literally has no human words. Because I am precipitating things that have never been done before. I am helping my clients build companies, impacts, wealth for their family that no one has ever seen before them. And it comes from my gift of translation that was from a really difficult time in my life. That was a skill that was developed through many challenges. And so, what I want you to think about as you are hiding away your gifts are the people that you aren't impacting because you're playing small, because you aren't trusting your own gifts, because you aren't trusting the great unfolding, because you aren't capitalizing on the contrast, on the duality. There are so many people that are missing out: your family, your clients, your younger self, your children, the past versions of you, the future versions of you. And it's time now for you to recognize them for yourself. It's time for you to do the things that no one will ever do for you. It's time for you to honor your journey, honor yourself, honor your energy, honor your impact. There is a version of me that cannot fucking believe this is happening right now. Every time I sit in front of GarageBand, I remember recording my first ever episodes and being afraid of hearing my own voice, of editing it and vomiting at the sound of my own voice because I hated it, because I thought it wasn't worthy, because I thought it was disgusting, because I thought no one was going to fucking listen. And here we are now with hundreds of thousands of downloads, thousands of clients, I don't even know, tens of thousands of followers on social media platforms, and like hundreds of thousands, many hundreds of thousands of lives impacted because I was brave enough to trust my gifts. Because I convinced my human that I was worth a shot, that my desires were worth a shot. You are worth a shot. Your desires are worth a shot. Your authority is worth a shot. Your younger self is worth a shot. And I am all the way in on supporting you with your codex, with your alignment, with your wealth generation, with your business systems, with your shadows that you're integrating, with your relationships that you're navigating as you are building and scaling this soul's work. And that is what this podcast is for. That is what my programs are for. That is what my masterminds are for. That is what my one-on-one is for. It's what my in-person immersions are for. They are here for you and you're fucking human, because you wouldn't be here without your human. And that's one of the things that I often see that is missed, is this honoring and the bringing it all together. Like, one of the analogies I use continually in my mastermind is I see the dough coming together, or the cake coming together. You know, you're putting your baking powder and the grated carrots and I'm definitely thinking about birthday because it's my birthday in a couple of days. You know, and the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the clove and the wholemeal flour and the pineapple, and you're putting it all together with the eggs and you're mixing it. In the beginning you're like, oh my god, wait, it's way too wet or it's way too dry, and you're mixing it, and then you're like, oh, actually it's the perfect consistency, and you pour it into the lined trays and you bake it, and it's just the best fucking carrot cake you've ever eaten in your whole entire fucking life. And I have the absolute privilege of helping my clients bring all of those ingredients together with their codex, because your success does not require you to be perfect. It requires you to hold the contrast, because the contrast is where the art is. It is where the perfected form is. It is where the functionality is. It is where the desires and the like the 5D and the 3D, it's where it's all bridged. It is in the masterpiece of the duality and of the contrast and the push and the pull. And so any time that you are feeling that you are not perfect enough or good enough yet or ready enough yet, you have to be on top of it, because no one is coming to save you. No one can do this for you. This is only something that you can do. And I cannot wait to see it all unfold. This is Unhurried Sage, and you have listened to the Your Galactic Guide podcast.